Welcome again. Let's start this guy off. Welcome again. My name is Keith. I am making a 2D adventure game in 3D using Blender, and up until this point I was going to use Armory3D, but it's got some problems that I need for my game, and although later on the problem should be fixed in fairly short order, um, I decided that I would look at other engines that I could use to make my game with. So the first one was Godot, right? You can see it here. If you're wondering why this little area up here, and that's because for the stopwatch. And then if you're wondering why this little area here is kind of exposed, I decided to be moved over. And that's because I got dual monitors and my mouse goes off screen, like you can see here. But if you go in this area, sometimes my mouse goes way off screen while I'm in the middle of doing something. And so if I keep the windows a little bit smaller, then that doesn't happen here. So, oh yeah, and if you're wondering about my headphones, if you notice this one's back, and that's because my dad's napping in another room, and just so I can hear stuff on the outside because my door is closed, I don't want to cover up this ear, so I cover up this ear, and only sometimes I'm actually listening to something. Okay, so you probably guessed by now the other engines I'm going to talk about, because I already talked about Unreal Engine, and then there's Unity. Unity, let's try Unity, and then unity.com, and I don't know how hard Unity will actually be to use, honestly, but it's got some good support. In fact, there's a adventure, what is it called? Adventure Creator. Here, let's just type that in. Adventure Creator Unity, and right. And so Adventure Creator is a Unity plugin, I guess, and you can supposedly make 3D games and 2D games. And I won't bore you with the trailer. Let's see if there's a there's screenshots. There we go. And it's pretty cool. It's got 3D, it's got 2D, and supposedly you can do a combination of both, which I haven't seen how to do yet. And it's possibly an option, except it's normally $70. Right now it's $35. But I've bought a few things, like from the humble store, that I've never actually used, so I pay for things and then don't use them. And so Adventure Creator could be like that. If I find out that I don't like it for some reason, or that I can't use it, then I just wasted $35. And $35 is kind of, it's not impossible, but it's kind of hard for me to come by since I don't have a job, except for I'm just like doing mturk and usertesting.com, and probably can do a few more things now that I'm using Brave, because Brave is based on Chromium, and it's always perceived as a Chrome browser. So there's that. And so I may not be doing Adventure Creator itself. I may just have to do it in Unity itself. Again, I'd have to figure it out. But Unity is kind of meant to be able to make games fairly easily or fairly quickly. Although it's got a slew of good features that make it kind of a challenge worthy to my next engine, which is going to be, of course, Unreal Engine. So Unreal Engine, the actual Brave browser doesn't let the autoplay start, so you can actually switch it to where it does, and that's just fine by me because it just takes up bandwidth anyways. But Unreal Engine, of course, is also free. So these are all free engines. Somebody told me about something called Defold, which was purchased by King, which makes the Candy Crush games, and they say it's the premier 2D creation tool, except it's actually a 3D engine, and it does have 3D capabilities. In fact, somebody's made a game. But when I looked at it's 3D, and it's kind of, I don't know, simplistic maybe, or maybe I just haven't seen something that what it can really do. So I don't think I'll be using Defold. So these are my 3 picks for what engine I should use. And what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to download all of them, install them, and I'm going to see if I can run through a couple of beginner tutorials on each of them and to see if they're viable for me to use. I need to be able to, and it's kind of simple for some of these because they got the functionality built into them, but at its basic, I want to be able to take an object on a, like say a plane, and I want you to be able to click anywhere on the plane or on the floor, on the ground, or whatever you want to call it, and your 3D object should be able to move there, and it should be able to navigate around obstacles. That's kind of a big deal with adventure games because you do a lot of point and clicking. And back in the day, they used to use keyboard movement, but when they started doing mouse user interface with the mouse, you had to click on somewhere and it had to go there. So there's some wet pathfinding in it and stuff like that. So I need something that I can just kind of work in on it out of the box. I can just like load up graphics and I can move objects, and you know, pretty much the rest of the adventure stuff is actually pretty easy once you get past that part. I just need to learn what each of them does. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and download these engines. And I'll get into, I almost think I would just want to do Godot. It seems like the best and the easiest for me, but I will download the other 2 and I will try them out, and just to see if I can get something up and running. You know, if I can get something up and running, then anybody can, right? That sort of thing. So without further ado, let's go to the download page, and standard version and mono version. Now, I know C#, I've done C#, I like the language, but I think I'm just going to go ahead with their own GD script because like other programming languages and scripting languages, once you know a few of them, they're all pretty much the same. They have a few, you know, things here and there, little caveats, little things like that, but it's not a big deal. So see, the mono libraries don't run on 64-bit Windows systems at the time being. Actually, I have a feeling that's going to actually change once Microsoft goes with the new .NET 5, which is supposed to take .NET Core, and so they're supposed to like consolidate a bunch of technologies, and now they'd be more cross-platform, and so maybe then mono, C# and all that, it'll all be fairly standardized. And in any case, I'm not doing that right now. This is just another one of those ads that I told you about before. Supposedly I'm earning some BAT crypto with that. In fact, I should be able to look at a summary here, I think. That wasn't it, though. Anyways, it doesn't. Here, I'll go to the reward settings. So far, estimated earnings $2.50 or $2.50 in BAT, which is about 88 cents. So that's going to be a long time before it actually makes any money. But if BAT grows in value, then great, because I didn't have to pay for this. So that's a good thing. Then they have the auto contribute here, which is kind of weird because not a lot of people have started to actually added some sort of tip thing in, and it was like about $5 a month or something, and it's like I'm gonna get $5 in a month. It looks like I'm gonna get like less than $1 in a month, but that's why I turned it off. But in any case, if BAT, uh, becomes big, maybe I'll make some money with it without even have to buy anything. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything, so other than being kind of slightly annoying having the same ads over and over again. So I need OpenGL 2.1 and GLES 2.0 compatible hardware. I think I'm covered because I got two GTX 1070s, not the TIs, not 1080 Ti, not an RTX, just a GTX 1070. But they seem to be alright, so I like them and it works out. Okay, so extract and run, go self-contained, does not require installation. Extract and run, huh? Does not require installation. Interesting. I have no idea what Scoop is. It's also available on HIO and Steam. I don't think I'd want it from Steam. It's DRM stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and download the 64-bit version. And I am going to, what do I have there? VR Master. Okay, that was the shortcut thing in Blender. Stopwatch timer gadget and Tamper Monkey backup. Okay, that's alright. So good old stable Win64, and we'll see how long that takes to download. Did it download already? It's only 23 meg. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. But instead of just installing it, I'm going to go ahead and go to Unity, and I'm going to go ahead and download. So you get started. And I am not doing that. I am doing... Wait. Personal. Available to use if your revenue or funding raised or self-funded does not exceed 100K per year. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing 100K, so I'm going to go ahead and try personal because it's the free version. Download Unity starting today. Do not make more than 100K in gross revenue. As whether Unity Personal is being used for commercial purposes or internal project or prototyping. Have not raised funds in excess of 100K. I barely have a few $100 in my account, so no. And I'm not currently using Plus or Pro. Okay, so download Unity Hub. See, this is good though. Windows 7 SP1 Plus, and then Windows 8, 10, 64-bit versions only. So that's kind of tough, but I do have Windows 7 Pro. It's a 64-bit version. And older versions of Unity, system requirements. Okay, so I guess I'm downloading Unity Hub. Whatever that is. It's probably a load thing where you click on it and then it downloads and launches. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And apparently that is only 41 meg. Unity Hub setup. And now let's go to Unreal Engine 4, which has got to be humongous, but we will see. Okay. Actually, I think I should go ahead and close up this video, and I'll see you in the next video where I'll download Unreal Engine there. So thank you for watching, and please watch.